Hello chess friends and welcome to Zaro's chess channel and welcome to my best chess games of all time series. So in this series we see the best of the best chess games that have been ever played in chess history, and today I wanted to show you this beauty played by Alexander Riazantsev against Vladimir Nevostrujev. Vladimir Nevostrujev here with the black pieces. And I've never seen this game before till yesterday. My brother, he's also a chess player, he texted me and he said, look at this crazy game, you have to publish it on your YouTube chess channel, and of course agreed, because in this game Vladimir Nevostrujev had 100% attacking moves. That's really unbelievable, but let's talk about this attacking moves. What's an attacking move? You see, there are these three types of moves which you can play in a chess game. I'm not saying that one is better, one is worst, but you want to have as many as possible of this attacking move. So you see, when you're maybe playing your pawn forward, it's an attacking move. So if you're playing also from your with your rook from the starting square, maybe on the open D file, it's also an attacking move. Although we didn't move the rook literally forward, we moved it to the left, but it's really a move forward because the rook has to be a non-open file. So if we develop our bishop, of course, here from c1 to b2, it's also an attacking move because we're playing straightforward. Also the knight, if we place the knight maybe here, is also an attacking move because we're simply moving forward. But the other type of move can be this reposition of your pieces. So it means that you make these types of moves just in order maybe to improve the position of your bishop. Maybe this bishop would be better on this diagonal. So you see, sometimes in this positional setups, in these positional games, it's important to do these repositions. But as I said, you want to have as many as possible of this attacking move. And the third type of move is this maybe defensive move, which is forced by your opponent. If your opponent attacks you here, like the knight on e6, if the maybe knight is attacked, then you have to retreat and you have to go back, which of course is sort of the worst thing that can happen in a chess game for you, that you have to retreat. But sometimes it's really necessary. Sometimes we cannot play just attacking moves. It's sometimes we have to defend, sometimes we have to retreat with our own pieces. So as said, in this game Vladimir Nevostrujev played 100% attacking, straightforward, no repositions, no retreat, just straightforward, and you have to see this really nice beauty. Here we have d4 by Alexander Riazantsev, knight on f6, c4, g6, the king's Indian. And the king's Indian can never be boring, I think, in this top grandmaster level, especially when guys from Russia playing these games, they have their own style of playing, I think. Knight on c3, bishop on g7. Now we have bishop on g5, and this bishop on g5 is this so-called Smyslov variation. Okay, it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages, but what I always didn't like from White's perspective in these types of setups, like in the London system, maybe with bishop on f4, here bishop on g5, is the thing that you always weaken here a little bit the queen side. The knight is sometimes unprotected. There is this, after the c5 move, there is always this queen on a5, knight on e4 idea, and you're basically forced maybe to go with the bishop on d2, and you could lose this bishop in these types of variations. Then of course, if the position gets opened, it's better for the bishops. So here you see Vladimir Nevostrujev played immediately d5, and here c5, here d5 played by White. And okay, what to do here when this bishop on f4 or bishop on g5 idea is played by White? It's possible to go in the so-called Benko gambit setups or this Blumenfeld gambit setups with the move b5, which Nevostrujev played here. b5, really aggressive. You have now two good choices, and the other choices are really bad. Let me explain you first the bad choices. The bad choice is if you allow as White here black to take on c4, then okay, maybe after e4 you can recapture the pawn on c4, but this bishop would be blocked out by its own pawn, and this is not good. The worst thing that you can do here is maybe to play the move b3, because here knight on e4 possibilities, because you're really liberating this diagonal for the bishop. And here if you play knight on b5, which is kind of a good, could be a good choice, could lead into equality. But there is this problem here again with this move knight on e4, because after bishop on f4 we could play simply d6, and now again with the idea to play maybe queen on a5. So if you try something like d6 here to create sort of a fork on c7, well, then you can simply take, you can allow your opponent, which is really a nice tactical line for black here. Okay, white has this fun here on c7, but king on f8 is perfectly fine. Knight takes on a8, and now again this very annoying move, queen on a5. If the queen comes here, queen takes on d2, knight on e4 again, the king has to defend, king on e1, now we can take, and now again very annoying stuff. You see bishop on c3, the king has to move, now we can create our own fork here. Basically it's completely winning here for black, and I hope you realize it, because it doesn't bring you so much this d6 knight on c7 idea. So don't be afraid while playing the setups when your opponent is preparing it, because you see you have a very nice activity with your bishop and your knight, and it's perfectly fine, I think. So here c takes b5 was played by Riazantsev, and here a6, which is also a common Benko gambit move, because we want to do this thing. If white takes now, then we can take with the bishop, and after e4 we can take this bishop on f1, which is now preventing white from castling. Very important. And now we can simply fix the position here with d6. The standard setup is knight on d7 castling, removing the queen somewhere maybe here on c7 b6, and really occupy with our rooks on the b and a file, which is the main idea in the Benko gambit setups. And it's really now an equal position, although black is one pawn down, but you see white has still problems to develop. White has to weaken also the king side with moves as g3 in order to create sort of a castling situation. So I've played many times against this Benko gambit, and I was really annoyed with it, and I found a way. I will explain it in my d4 series, how to avoid the Benko gambit with the common move knight on f3, but we'll talk about that in my other video. Here you see it's really annoying position. So here after a6, e3 was played by white. Now we have queen on a5, again with the preparation to play knight on e4, which could be deadly. You see this would liberate the bishop, and this knight on c3 would be really overloaded. So that's why queen on d2, preventing these types of ideas, and now castling by Nevostrujev. We have b takes a6, and here Nevostrujev doesn't even react. Okay, he's also white takes another pawn, but we can always take this pawn. This pawn doesn't matter in this particular moment. What the more important thing is that we deflected this pawn from c4 to b5. You see, and now white sort of lost his central control here, because now the e6 move can come, and maybe after f takes e6 and then d5, or we can grab with the d pawn, which happened in the game here, e6, after d takes e6, d takes e6, and now the threat is rook on d8, which will really challenge the queen now. And there's no way that white is gonna castle here queen side, because you see there are too many open files here now. After maybe black recaptures the pawn here on a6, this position is too open for the king, and I've never seen in top grandmaster level that in a Benko gambit white castled queenside here. I think it's deadly, because here you can play maybe in order to prevent rook on d8, rook on d1, but again you lost the tempo in a very important stage of the game. You see, you have to move still your bishop and your knight, so if you move the rook, you have still 3 moves to play in order to castle. Black, with its very nice development, has a very nice attack, so the king could stay here in the center, which could also be deadly. So that's why here white tries knight on e4, and that's okay, that's a good idea. Here after potential trades of the queens. The position is really simplified. Now black doesn't have this common attack on the queen side, and here of course with the pawn up it could be a very nice game for white, because as I said, when the queens are off the board it's not such a nice attack by black here, but here Vladimir Nevostrujev finds a very nice tactical idea. He plays knight takes on e4. He leaves the queen hanging, and when I saw this crazy move I was really impressed by this game. Here of course the queen on a5 has to be taken, and now bishop on b2. So the threat is of course bishop on c3, and if you try something like escaping with the king here on e2, then you get bishop on a6. If the king moves on a like square again, then you have bishop on e2, and in the next move you can take the queen. You see the rook is hanging. This would be a completely winning endgame for black. So that's why here instead of king on e2, white is forced to play knight on e2, preventing this bishop on c3 idea. And this is now again move which blocks out now this bishop. So you see the king is still endangered here, although black doesn't have the queen anymore on the board. And let's see now Nevostrujev's continuation. He first took out the rook again, but we have again an attack on the bishop, which is very important. Black forced white to do something again. So you see in this game Vladimir Nevostrujev, because he played all of these attacking moves, he played simply straightforward, and I hope you realize that Vladimir Nevostrujev played all of his moves simply attacking moves. He didn't do any of these repositions or defensive moves. You can watch the game again later and you'll see all of his moves were simply straightforward. And here bishop on h6 was played. Now we have bishop takes on a6, and now bishop takes on f8. So Nevostrujev gives also here the rooks for the exchange, but he didn't even take the rook. He played knight on c6. Very nice attacking ideas here by the Russian grandmaster. He leaves the position a little bit like that because he creates of course first an attack on the queen, and here maybe the best move for white would have been queen on b6, because there is probably he was thinking that rook on b8 is the threat, because if the queen moves somewhere then we have a rook on b1, a very annoying checkmate. But that's really not true, because here after rook on b8 white can play queen takes on b8, after knight takes on b8 then maybe bishop on h6, and again we have a simplified position because the queens again are not anymore on the board. White is up the exchange. We have 5 pawns on white side, 5 pawns on black side, so I think this could be winning continuation. But here after instead of rook on b8, black could maybe play knight on b4, which could lead maybe in this types of variation with knight on d3 and this fork on knight on f2, which could be also a complicated game. There are too many tactical lines now. I don't want you to show all of the tactical lines which I've analyzed, because I could do this video for maybe an hour. Many tactical possibilities here after knight on f2, and maybe Alexander Riazantsev found another line, but here he played, instead of this queen on d6, he played queen on c7, which was even worse, because there is always, after knight on b4, there is always this tactical threat of bishop on e5, and if the queen takes on e5 then we have the fork on d3. So here maybe also better move for white would have been bishop on d6. This could lead again in these types of lines with the fork situation. Here again the position gets simplified, but I think this line could lead into a draw, because in the continuation of this particular line, well, black would have a bishop and rook for the queen and the pawn, and I think also that this could be a draw for this game. But instead of you see after knight on b4 here white played bishop on h6, and this is now his main mistake, because now basically the game is over. Now we have this idea bishop on e5. Of course, white cannot take the bishop. The queen moved here on d7, and now knight on d3. Very nice check, and it's basically game over. White is basically forced here to take out this knight on d3 because that's his best move, just in order to prevent black to checkmate. Because here king on d1 was played, but now rook on b8. Now we have the threat. The main idea is to create a checkmate here with the rook and combine with these two very nice knights with the supported bishop and this bishop on e5. So we have now a very nice attack by all of these pieces by black. Here knight on d4 was played. Now we have rook on b1, king on e2. If you try king on c2, it's mate in 2. You see we have rook on b2 first, then the king has to move on d1 again, and now knight on f2. Very nice checkmate with the knights and the rook. So that's why here king on e2 was played, but now knight on e1, which is very important, which prevents white's king to escape on this very important f3 square. If the white escapes here, then of course it's game over for black, because black has because white has also his checkmate threats here on e1. And here knight on b5 was played, but now it's again a checkmate. Here we have knight on c3. The knight cannot take. King on d2, and now rook on d1. Very nice checkmate. Game over for white. So you see, very nice game played here by Vladimir Nevostrujev. I really enjoyed this game. It was a queen sacrifice in move 11. And let's go back. I want you to really show you this attacking moves. Just pay good attention. I'm not going to explain this tactical possibilities. I just want you to realize that Vladimir Nevostrujev played all of his moves simply forward. So you see, knight on f6 forward, we have g6 forward, bishop c5 again straightforward, again b5 straightforward, a6 straightforward, queen on a5 straightforward, castling also straightforward. Here e6 also a move forward, an attacking move, very nice. D takes e6 also. Here knight on e4, knight takes on e4, bishop on b2 also straightforward. Here bishop on a1, again bishop on a6. After bishop on f8, you see Vladimir Nevostrujev didn't react. Knight on c6 again, very nice attacking move. Here queen on c7, knight on b4, again straightforward, very nice. So you see now these pieces are really dancing around white's king. Very nice play. Bishop on h6, and this is also, although the bishop goes back, but I hope you realize that this is also an attacking move, because it makes something, it creates an attack on white's queen. The queen has to react, so it has also to be considered as an attacking move. So here again queen on d7, but here knight on d3, again an attacking move, straightforward, again straightforward, rook on b8, rook on b1, and here you see all of these moves simply straightforward, and it was checkmate. So it was move 23, and 23 moves simply attacking. I really enjoyed this game. Really nice. I've never seen this game before, as I said, and I had to publish it here on this very nice list of this best chess games of all time. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this game like I did, and meanwhile you can watch my other best chess games of all times, with some Tal games, with some Fischer games, with some Kasparov games, and you can also watch my commented chess games, in which I show you the regular chess games that are played in tournaments these days, and you can also watch my computer chess games, in which I show you the best chess engines playing, like Leela and Stockfish, and you can also subscribe to my channel. Thanks you for watching, guys, and chess is really the best.